Ooh, Wednesday. Additional thoughts. Thriller. I was thinking about Meme Lord just now because he always writes down when I say. So let's see if I can do this. I was actually practicing this, not successfully, earlier today. Wednesday, additional thoughts, Thriller. That's about as fast and as well as I can say that. And, what's fun about this video tonight is you guys all get to witness the end of my YouTube career. Because I'm going to drop into this additional thoughts with what is probably a hot take, but just want to keep this in mind. We'll start with the outrage, and then we'll work into the explanation. And maybe you guys can see where I'm coming from. So, not to tease it too hard, but in my opinion, Thriller, the greatest selling album of all time in the history of all of the things ever, is not a 10. And I can hear you screaming through the screen and please put the knife down and so on. How is that even possible, right? That makes no sense. Now, I was thinking about this, like how do I really break that down? And it came up in Discord somewhat recently, and it was kind of nice because everyone has all these different criterias for how they determine a 10 or a perfect album or so on, right? And I have my set thing and other people have their things. But I think, even though we all might get to that 10 mark in a different way, I think all of us, at least most of us, can probably agree that at minimum, a 10 has to be an album that has no skips. Because no skips isn't really, that's not that hard to clear, in my opinion. If you enjoy an album and you can just put it on, that doesn't mean every single song is the best song you've ever heard or even one of your favorites, but it's just good enough that you listen through it, That's a key part, in my opinion. Clearly, these little filler tracks or interludes or skits and stuff like that doesn't count because those aren't real songs, right? So when I get to Thriller and I get to The Girl Is Mine, I skip the song with Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney, arguably two of the biggest stars in music ever, right? I skip it. And it's funny because over the weekend we went out of town and I threw on Thriller while we were in the car driving, and that track came on and my wife went, "What is this?" And I went, "Yeah, I know." And she said, and I thought this too. I didn't say it. I don't think I said it during the reaction, but she said, "It sounds like the intro to one of those super cheesy, wholesome, kind, like family afternoon sitcom TV shows where, it's the house and the family portrait on the mantle and, the kids are in the yard and they're playing in the pile of leaves and making a mess and the mom goes, oh, just like that. It just reeks of that." It's like, yeah, I know. And for me, it just feels like somebody taking a spoonful of sugar and shoving it in your mouth. Just, oh, God, it's so that. Now, is the song bad? I don't think it's bad, but it's too sweet for me. It's too much. I can't handle it. And, I made the contrast about hearing that song and the lyrics compared to other songs that exist within hip hop. Of course, Me and My Bitch by Biggie. I was listening to that today just because I wanted to put it on as a comparison for my own state of mind. So there you go. I skip The Girl Is Mine. I think the final track, Lady in My Life, I think that's what it is. Or was it Lady? Yeah, Lady in My... I don't have it up in front of me. Lady in My Life, I think that one's better. I think it's a better song. And I think it's a little... Yeah, Lady in My Life. I think it's a little underrated for the amount of listens that it has. It has half the listens of The Girl Is Mine. Now, it's the last track, and I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who throw on Thriller, top to bottom, don't touch it, perfect album. I totally get that. I'm not trying to refute that. I'm just saying that for myself, that's what happens with me at track 3. But then you drop into Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean. Oh, fucking legendary. And even Human Nature, I'm not super into that track. That's fine. I'm fine with that track. Pretty Young Thing's great. Lady of My Life is great. The first 2 tracks, Want to Be Starting Something, Baby Be My... just... And you know what? It was so much fun. Some people left comments kind of mentioning this. I think it was mostly in Discord, but it was so much fun to do this album, especially after doing some of these heavy, dark, experimental, aggressive. Like, it was nice to shift out of that and drop into something that was fun. And even in doing so, I realized without even noticing it was happening that, oh, I kind of just re-experienced music from the aspect of just having fun. You know, I enjoy to analyze lyrics and hear these complexities and the structure and how a theme weaves through an album and all these things, right? I love that. I love the intricacies that can exist. But sometimes it's nice to just have fun. And I've been doing that so much with Thriller, especially with those 3 tracks, man. Thriller, Beat It, and Billie Jean are just fantastic. Pretty Young Thing's great too. So it was a nice change of pace. It's fun to do a big album like this. I pinned a comment in the reaction video, somebody asking, have you heard Purple Rain? I've never heard the album Purple Rain. It's an epic failure on my part, but hey, now I could probably do a video for that, and I put it on my list. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I do plan at some point doing Purple Rain because that's another just massive, huge album. It doesn't have the sales, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I know that one's just so highly regarded. So look forward to Purple Rain at some point in the future. That's going to happen. I have a note here. It says, I'm glad I waited so long to hear this because right now I can appreciate the production. I think if I would have heard this any time before now-ish, especially since my recent breakthrough in understanding and enjoying production, I don't know if I would have been into it as much. I would have just heard the 80s and heard how it's aged a little bit in terms of style, and I would not have appreciated all the little subtle things that Quincy Jones helped put into these tracks because there's all these little flourishes, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So I am glad, even though it's a shame, a crime, that I waited so long to hear it. I am glad that I did because I really, really appreciated and enjoyed what was going on musically. Another note I have is it helped to dispel the ideas I have about pop because I've always looked down at pop as it being, I don't know what you call it, right? But just, it's just that. It's just pre-produced, pre-packaged, maximized for the masses, most appeal, whatever. But I also realized, no, I'm just having fun. And maybe that's the whole point of pop, and I've never gotten into pop. And then the idea, okay, Purple Rain I've never done. There's some other albums we were talking about in Discord, like I've never listened to the Beach Boys. That's a huge album. What is it? Pet Sounds or Pet Shop or something like that. But it's like, okay, the journey of the channel is to explore hip-hop and all of that. And a large reason why is to check out new music that I've had all these misconceptions and preconceived notions about. That exists in pop. That exists in R&B. That exists in country. When I was reading the list of top-selling albums and Shania Twain popped up, I was like, shit, maybe I'll do a Shania Twain album someday. I don't know. What I do know is while the channel will still stay focused on hip-hop, and there's so many classics I still have to do, and just newer ones that are great as well, that's going to be the core. But having done Thriller, wanting to now do Purple Rain, it does open the door just a sliver of some other genres in terms of exploring these massive, huge, influential albums that have existed through the years. Because that's part of the journey too, is just exploring music. So that I'm a little bit more open to. Now, don't start dumping suggestions in the comments. You guys already have. It's a waste of time to even say no at this point. But my backlog for hip-hop is so huge that I don't expect that to happen a lot or anytime soon, but I'm at least open to it. So there's that. Just watched the video for Thriller with my son. We didn't record it. We were just, let's just watch it. Let's just enjoy it. And it was cool. My wife was hiding behind her hands the whole time because she was scared. Scared of the werewolf and scared of the zombies. That's right. And scared of what was in the empty abandoned house when the girl ran in there. Yes. So that was fun. And it was cool to watch. And it was cool to talk to some people who remember watching the video, like premiere on TV and being freaked out as a little kid because of Michael Jackson changing into the werewolf and all that stuff. It's neat to think back to that. I mean, things are so different now with content delivery and how we experience things. It is kind of fun to go back and think, everybody was watching it on their TV at the same time, even though they weren't necessarily, connected like we can be now on the internet. They're probably with friends or probably with family. They're talking about it the next day at work. Like, oh my God, did you see that? It's just cool. It's cool to kind of think back to that. And I guess that's it. If I were to give, I don't like giving number reviews. That's not what I do. But, it not being a 10, okay, then, what the hell is it? I'll lowball it and give it a 9.7, right? Just because I think The Girl Is Mine is a little too much sugar and sweetness in there. What a fucking amazing album, though. I've been singing Billie Jean. I've been singing Beat It. I've been singing Thriller like in my head for days, just for days. And I never imagined that ever happening for no particular reason other than, I just wouldn't do it on my own. So it's been quite a fun surprise to be here enjoying Thriller. Yeah. Some people have mentioned Off the Wall. Some people have mentioned Dangerous. We'll see. We'll see where all that goes. That's kind of out there on the fringe of what I want to do with the channel. But, there it is. Tomorrow is the Buog. It's going to be another best of Buog. We'll take the 15 tracks from the previous 3 weeks and do a best of. And then, I don't know, I've got stuff coming up for work. It's going to mess me up for Thursday. Thanksgiving is coming. I might not worry about any new Buogs until December, but we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. But tomorrow is a best of. And of course, Friday, it will be because it's November.